This week on TIAA Bank Jaguars Weekend.
It's real. We're going to be real in a couple weeks. It's live.
After an offseason of expectations, the Jaguars are past the preseason and focused on a trip to New York to face the Giants. We're sitting down with head coach Doug Marrone for a look at the bright spots from camp. Plus,
as I got older, I developed more of a fear, so I didn't want to go learn.
one Jaguar is conquering his fears off the field and in the water. All that and more ahead on TIAA Bank Jaguars Weekend.
This is TIAA Bank Jaguars Weekend. TIAA Bank, created to serve, built to perform.
I think greatness with this team. So I'm still going to push this team to get better and better and better. Does that make sense to everybody?
Jaguars head coach Doug Marrone expects the 2018 Jaguars to be one thing: great. Hello and welcome to TIAA Bank Jaguars Weekend. I'm Ashlyn Sullivan. We're 1 week away from the first game of the 2018 season. The Jaguars have been working for months to make sure this team is ready for success. Doug Marrone has his team focused on one practice at a time. The Jaguars know what they are capable of and are ready to prove it in New York.
Push it, come on.
Training camp was a no-nonsense grind for the Jaguars. But we know one thing: they're ready.
We wanted to intimidate people and send a message across the league. That was the goal going through preseason. Preseason is, from the first couple teams that watch this tape, is making sure they see a team that's fast and physical and plays with different kind of just intensity.
The defense was one of the best in the league last season. Now they're focused on being number one.
We got young guys that's getting older, getting more wise in this league, Miles and Yannick and Jalen. So it's going to be impressive. It's going to be an exciting year, man, for this team, man. And, being on the defense side of the ball, I can say, man, that anything short of the best defense in the National Football League by far is just unacceptable.
The offense has new weapons who are ready to make an impact.
Man, this offense is special. We got a lot of athletic guys, fast guys, young guys who want to make plays. So it's going to be fun to see, man. We just got to keep it clicking and stop messing up on the small things and get ready to go.
Expectations have never been higher in Jacksonville. We're about to find out if this team can live up to them. The million-dollar question on expectations. Joined now by Brian, Sexton, and John Oehser. Guys, some people say 16-0. Some people say Super Bowl. Can this team live up to the expectations in 2018?
Well, one person said 16-0, and God love his soul, Malik Jackson. They're not going to go 16-0, but they have a chance to be very good. If the expectations are a deep playoff run, a chance to go to the Super Bowl, absolutely that. I never really say that a team should win the Super Bowl because so much can happen, Brian. But this has the look of a team that should be in that top 3 or 4 teams in the league in the NFL this year going into the season.
The key word, John, there was can. Can they live up to the expectations? And absolutely. They've proven it over and over and over this preseason, whether we're talking about the defense and holding opponents to like 6% on third down and not allowing the first team and the highest paid quarterback in the game and Kirk Cousins to score a touchdown. Yes, they can absolutely live up to the expectations. We've seen some creativity and some spark on the offensive side of the ball. Oh yeah, they can. Whether they will or not, that story is yet to be written.
They have the potential to go through a lot of segments where they make other teams look bad, and that's rare for a team to be able to do that.
Yeah.
This team survived training camp onto the regular season. When you're looking back, what's one takeaway that you guys look back on?
It plays right into your first question, Ashlyn. I think this team is ridiculously good. I didn't know. I knew what the defense was, but it's exceeded my expectations with its depth, with its quality. On the offensive side of the ball, I kind of thought I knew the way they were going to play based on the offensive game plan from the divisional game in Pittsburgh last January. I didn't know they'd be this clever, this creative, and we've just seen the icing. We haven't seen the cake on that deal. If they stay healthy, this team is, I think, the best in the NFL.
I think that I took away, and sort of touched on what Brian said, is the diversity they have a chance to have on offense. And I take away from the Atlanta game, they had 10 or 11 guys catch passes even after Marquise Lee left the game with the injury. They were still able to spread the ball. I don't think you're going to have, beyond Leonard Fournette, a standout star on offense. But I think you've got 10, 11 guys who could all be the player of the game. And I think that's what's going to emphasize this offense, and it's what I took from the preseason, mainly the Week 3 game against Atlanta.
The clue here is Marquise Lee was your leading receiver in terms of receptions last year. He's gone, and we're not seeing a team break stride. That tells you just how they built the depth on that side of the ball.
We haven't even mentioned quarterback Blake Bortles. A few interceptions in the preseason. Does that concern you going into this regular season?
Some, because there's been a history before, but I think you have to take the last 8 games of the regular season and 3 playoff games, no interceptions in the playoffs. I'm assuming that once they start scheming, once they start game planning and really attacking your defensive weaknesses, that you won't see that as much. And I think he's able to, maybe a couple years ago, the 3 interceptions in the preseason would have freaked him out a little bit. I think he's fine with that, and I think he'll be fine in the regular season.
Maybe I'm whistling by the graveyard here, but no, I'm not concerned by it. He does throw interceptions, and he's going to throw interceptions. He did last year. They still found a way to win the game. As long as he's not throwing that pick 6 that comes at the critical moment where the game is still in the balance, I think they'll be fine. He's better than that, better than what he was. I'm not worried about it.
Absolutely. Still a long season to go. Well, thank you guys. There's still more to come on Jaguars Weekend. Still to come on TIAA Bank Jaguars Weekend. For the Jaguars, training camp was a success. Jeff Lageman is in the film room with the head coach to tell you what stood out during camp. Plus, it's a new Jaguars FAQ. This week, we're testing the team on some Jags history. But first, it's time for Know Your Jags, presented by Fields Automotive Group. This week, the Jaguars are giving you some advice.
What is the best advice that you've ever heard?
Best advice I've ever heard. That is a tough question.
The best advice.
Everything in your life has a consequence.
Don't count the days, make the days count.
Consequences can be good or bad, which I didn't really know at the time. I thought consequences were all just bad. But everything has a consequence, so think about the actual consequences before you make decisions.
Nobody can live your life but you.
The only time you ever fail is if you quit.
Just be yourself, Be yourself. The right things will fall around you, and the right things will find you. If you're yourself, and you'll separate and elevate just by being yourself. You don't need to be anything else but yourself, and work hard.
Hard work beats anything. I mean, it's proven in my story where I was out of the league for the year, and I just kept working and doing everything I could to come back to it. So that would be my biggest thing. Is hard work is something that you can't beat.
Do good, and good will always follow you.
Don't let people tell you sky's the limit, because there are footprints on the moon.
My dad told me, don't ask someone to do something that you can do yourself. And my grandfather told me that there's never anything so bad that something good can't come out of it.
If your mind conceives and your heart believes, then you can achieve. Run with it.
Jaguars Weekend is presented in part by TIAA Bank, created to serve, built to perform, and Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com to see how much you could save.
Come on, Will. Come on, strike with your hands, Will. Let's go. Strike them. Think about your levels. Think about your levels. Turn it up. Turn it up. Good. Good. Jog it off. Jog it off.
Doug Marrone spent a couple days coaching the offensive line during training camp. Marrone worked with that group for 2 seasons as offensive line coach before taking over the head job in 2017. Welcome back to TIAA Bank Jaguars Weekend. I'm Ashlyn Sullivan. During training camp, we saw the defensive side of the ball get even stronger, and the offense solidified their running game. We also saw some stars reveal themselves on the field. Jeff Lageman has a look at those standouts with head coach Doug Marrone in the Cadillac film room.
Boy, Doug, preseason highly successful, and part of that success that impressed me anyway was the play of your quarterback. His completion percentage went up, and some things didn't change. The toughness of your quarterback.
Well, I agree with you. I've said it, multiple times during this preseason. I think it's the one aspect of, Blake's game that gets overlooked. The ability to tuck the ball away and run, and then obviously the toughness here. And I think when everyone on the team sees your quarterback doing that, I think us as coaches, we hold our breath, and the players are like, yeah, here we go, And again, we were able to turn that into a touchdown on the following play.
Yeah, beautiful play. And here we are, preseason game number 3 against the Atlanta Falcons. What impressed me most about this play was Moncrief beating press at the line of scrimmage, and obviously he's going to be a guy that you're going to have to count on this year with the injury to Marquise Lee.
Well, you're exactly right, and this is one of the reasons why we brought him in here. Obviously he has really good speed, but he's a big physical receiver that can, again, get off the press, and then he does a hell of a job, after the run after the catch, and he's been doing that a lot in practice, and we're excited to see him for the season.
His measurables are off the chart.
They really are, and when people look at it, I think that's what they see, the measurables, and we've got to get those to transfer over to the field and get that production.
All right, defense, boy, picked up right where they left off, and here in Minnesota, your offense had turned the ball over the play before, and they answer getting a turnover themselves.
And it's something that we talk about all the time, whichever phase of our game, you know, if there's a mistake being made, you know, someone's got to come up and take over, and here's a great job of our defense coming in after we have turned the ball over and causing a turnover. And, you know, that's one of the things that we talk about as a team, how we complement each other and work with each other.
Well, the one guy that has been fun to watch this camp, and every camp the last couple of years, 91, Ngakoue.
I think everyone's finally realizing what a heck of a player he is. I think that what you see when he plays on game day is what you see in practice. I mean, he's 100 miles an hour all the time trying to get better.
All right, and you didn't really have many guys that you had to replace in the offseason. But one was the nickel position, and you acquired DJ Hayden, and against the Atlanta Falcons, love to see him coming off the edge just like Aaron Coleman used to do.
Yeah, I mean, he does a really good job. He's a physical player, you know, and you can see right here, he's obviously going against an offensive lineman and a good one, and I believe that's Andy Levitri, and he's able to get underneath him, get some little bit of push, get around, and affect the quarterback, and that's something obviously will help us during the year.
Thank you, Doug. A lot of good things to see in the preseason.
Yes, thank you, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff. It's time for Jaguars FAQ, a new segment here on Jaguars Weekend. This week we're quizzing the guys on how well they know the history of the Jaguars. AJ Canner, are you ready to play the trivia game that is sweeping the nation, Jaguars FAQ?
Let's get it. Let's go.
Let's do it. Let's go.
What is the name of the Jaguars mascot?
Jaguar. Jacksonville.
Correct.
What does it start with?
A J.
Joe. Jack. Jax. It's Jax, ain't it?
Oh, that's Jacksonville. Let's go.
What? No, that's the name. You can't. I have to
The name is Jackson DeVille.
It's Jax, though.
That's a good one, AJ.
Can you name two Pride of the Jaguars members?
Josh Scobie, Maurice Jones-Drew. No, I'm just kidding. Who?
Pride of the Jaguars, you know, the guys on the stadium.
Tony DeSelli, Mark Burnell.
All right, all right.
Okay, AJ.
Fred Taylor and Jimmy Smith. Fred Taylor's in there. The Weavers are in there. Baselli's in there.
Who's the Jaguars' all-time leading rusher?
I'm not sure. It's either Fred Taylor or Mojo, though. It's got to be right. It's either Fred Taylor or Jones Drew. It got to be one of them.
Pick one.
Fred Taylor.
Jones Drew.
Nope.
You telling me he left without beating Fred Taylor?
Who did the Jaguars beat in their first ever playoff game?
Oh.
You got this, AJ.
I know this one. Oh, it's the Steelers. No, that was the last one.
Steelers.
I know it's not Buffalo. I wouldn't say Buffalo Bills, but I know that wasn't our first.
Is it the Broncos? No, I remember the Broncos was the game they had.
That was the last game they won. Bills. Oh, it was? Oh, it was the Bills. I knew that, of course.
Wait, we have a guest question. Please hold.
Mr. Can, who has the smallest calf muscle on the offensive line?
AJ can.
Thank you, AJ.
There's still more to come on TIAA Bank Jaguars Weekend. Up next, it's time for a swim with one Jaguars rookie. Plus, we'll head into the kitchen for Gameday Grub.
Punch, don't turn. You turn it. That ain't pretty. I don't want that pretty stuff. Good job planning coming. Burst, back down, just like that. That's how I want you to run that comeback. I don't want you to run out there. Oh, yeah.
Wide receivers coach Keenan McCardell always vocal at practice, especially when he has the depth this wide receiver group has. Check out the full mic'd up features each week on Jaguars.com. Welcome back to TIAA Bank Jaguars Weekend. I'm Ashlyn Sullivan. The wide receiver group is young, fast, and talented on the field. Second-round draft pick DJ Chark is the newest addition to the room, and the rookie from LSU spent this summer conquering his biggest fear. This week's Baptist Health feature takes us to the pool at the Jacksonville YMCA.
Just real small. That's it. Go ahead. There it is. There it is.
There it is. That's it. Make the arms a little smaller. Go ahead, kick a little bit.
Every time, we going on a boat or anything like that, I don't go because I was afraid of the water because I didn't know how to properly swim. I could get in the pool and probably get back to where I came from, but it wasn't a guarantee that I was gonna get back. So I wanted to pretty much learn how to swim so I can start, doing more activities with other people and I wouldn't be as limited.
That's it, you got it. This is all you. That's all you, man. Yep, you're good, you're good. He didn't swim at all the first time. The first night he didn't attempt to swim at all. We had a belt on him with a noodle just to get him to feel comfortable in the water. It's a safe place to be, and I think that's what's important. If you're gonna teach somebody how to swim, they've gotta feel safe. That's it, yeah. There you go.
I first walked in, I saw these pools, and I was like, I can't get in these pools. So we got in a small pool on that end where they do the workouts, and they taught me the basics, and I was able to get more comfortable. But by the second time I came, by the end I had to dive into the deep end, and I didn't feel comfortable doing that. So it took me a while to get comfortable with having water over my head and getting back to the top. I just kept working with me, getting better and better and better until today I feel way more comfortable doing everything they said.
Yes, DJ, that's it, that's it. I'll tell you the biggest thing is your attitude. Your attitude and your want to, and his attitude is so positive. He just wants to learn, and you can hear him tonight. I just want to be able to swim. So you got to believe that you can do this, and when that happens, miracles happen. Do it. Go. There you go. Yep. That's it. There you go. Keep going the whole way. Keep going the whole way.
Swimming the length of the pool, that's my first time ever doing that. And by the time you finish, your heart is beating real hard. I feel like I just got through with a workout or practice.
I'm wore out. We just had a tour day. Oh, man.
It's great to see Chark being able to live life like a true Floridian thanks to those swimming lessons. Time to get into the kitchen with Gameday Grub, presented by Tico People's Gas. This week we're highlighting one of Columbia's most popular dishes, arepas. For the full recipe and to check out all the Gameday Grub segments, visit peoplesgas.com/cooking. There's more ahead on TIAA Bank Jaguars Weekend. The keys to the regular season are next.
He's the best rookie I've had, in my career, which is it's a big statement, Some guys might get upset about that, but he really has done everything that we've asked of him. He's did it with a smile on his face, and he's just a good guy to be around.
A confident statement coming from the veteran defensive lineman on tape. And Brian, guys, what are our expectations? What do you think we're going to see from him in 2018?
I think you're going to see a player who can penetrate. I think you're going to see a player who can make an impact in spots, but I think it's going to take a while.
I think you're going to see him, right? I mean, I think you're going to see, with as deep a defensive line group as this is and veteran, you might think that he's a jar on the shelf, a guy that you pull down in the future when the salary cap comes into play. I don't think so. He's strong, he's powerful, he can play 3 or 4 different spots. And with that veteran group, they want to keep Calais healthy at the end of this year. Yeah. I think you're going to see him.
Looking forward to the regular season against the Giants, storyline-wise. One of them's got to be Jalen Ramsey going against now the highest paid wide receiver.
Well, that might be the storyline.
Yeah, it's going to be the sexy storyline going in. To me, I'm worried about this game. I think this team needs a good start, and I think this is a tougher matchup than people expect. And you got to stop Saquon Barkley.
Opening day anywhere is a tough place to play. New York, where the Giants expect to win. Remember, 2 years ago, they were 11-5, so it's not like they were a horrible team. They had some injuries last year. The quarterback didn't play well. He's capable of playing well. It's a big game.
Yeah, week one's always dangerous.
exciting stuff. That's for just the first step of climbing back up the mountain that hopefully leads to Atlanta. Thanks so much for tuning in to TIAA Bank Jaguars Weekend. We'll see you next week.